Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making a classic Malaysian chicken curry. With a couple of small changes, this is how my mother would have made it in the 1970s when I was growing up. Chicken on the bone makes a huge difference to the flavor, but if you prefer, you can use boneless thighs or breast meat. I will link to the video showing how to cut up a whole chicken, but here's a very fast review. This is a 2-kilogram chicken. I'm only using half for this curry because there are only 2 of us. I'll make something else with the other half. I'm going to cut up a medium onion, 4 cloves of garlic and about a 2cm piece of ginger and pop them into my food processor. My mum would have used a stone grinder or mortar and pestle for this. That is the first difference. The other difference is the type of tamarind I'm using, which we'll talk about later. Everything else I'm doing in this video is how she would have done it. I'm using a Malaysian curry powder, Baba's meat curry powder, 3 spoonfuls, about 30 grams. I'm also adding 2 spoonfuls, about 20 grams, of Baba's chili powder, more for the color than the heat. Add some water to make a paste. Heat a pot on a medium flame and add a dollop of ghee. Ghee is clarified butter that we can find in the international aisle of supermarkets here in Melbourne. These 4 spices are known as Empat Sekawan, the 4 friends. There's cinnamon stick, cardamom, star anise, and cloves. Kayu manis, buah pelaga, bunga lawang, and bunga cengkeh. Mom would be so happy that I remember what they're called. Add them to the ghee. You can just add them all at once. I'm hesitating because I realized after adding the cinnamon stick that the ghee wasn't quite hot enough. Give it a stir and wait sampai naik wangi, my mum would say, until the fragrance rises. This will happen quite quickly depending on how hot the ghee was. Strip the leaves from a stalk of curry leaves. Be careful, this can splatter. Quick stir, then straight in with the onion, ginger and garlic paste. There's no need to brown this. Just stir fry it for a few minutes until it's fragrant. What do we say? Sampai naik wangi. I'm no longer fluent in Malay, but I like using the terms and phrases when I'm cooking. It connects me to my early memories. I hope you will use the words too, and somehow there'll be an invisible connection between us when you make your chicken curry. Add the curry powder paste, and you'll probably need to add a little more water. This can stick to the bottom, so keep stirring and lower the flame if it's going too quickly. You'll need to cook this until the oil splits out. Sampai pecah minyak, until the oil breaks. Mine seems to have reached that stage almost instantly, but I want the spices to be properly cooked, so I'm going to keep going for a couple more minutes. Add the bony pieces of chicken first. They'll take longer to cook. Give it a good stir, making sure all the pieces are well coated. Add enough water so that most of the chicken is submerged. Give it a stir and let it come back to the boil. Add the potatoes now, and again give it a stir and let it come back to the boil. Well, actually, let it come back to a simmer. That was a mistake. Don't cover the pot. You want the gravy to be quite thick, and if you cover the pot, it's simply going to steam way too much and the water will just be trapped in there and you're going to get a very, very watery gravy. Leave it open and just keep checking the water levels. After 15 minutes, you can add your boneless pieces and then continue cooking for another 5 minutes. Again, leave the cover off. After 5 minutes of cooking, I tasted the gravy and then added salt and tamarind. Now this is the other difference that I mentioned earlier. My mother would have used tamarind with seeds in it, and she would have added that very early in the cooking. With the tamarind concentrate that I'm using, and I've only used about half a teaspoon, I find that the flavor is quite volatile, so I always add it at the end. I also added about 200 ml of coconut milk, which made the gravy even more watery. At this point, I turned the camera off while I decided what to do about the gravy and forgot to turn it back on again. All I did was lift the chicken and potatoes out and simply continue simmering the gravy until it reached the consistency I was happy with. And here you are, the chicken and potatoes are back in the pot and everything's hunky-dory. The perfect Malaysian chicken curry. Tasting time. Now this is the best bit, of course. While the chicken was cooking, I did do a quick stir fry of some carrots and some Chinese cabbage with a bit of garlic, a bit of soy, a bit of oyster sauce. So let's see how this. So nice. It's really not super spicy. That's why I've got the sambal belacan, which will supplement the spice. Sambal belacan goes so well with curries. Bit of potato. Lovely and soft. There you are, classic Malaysian chicken curry. I hope you try it. Bye for now.